Hello, everyone. Good evening to each one of you. So we are here with another new, fresh episode of our Polaris Talks. Myself, I'm Dr. Aishwarya, content lead at Dr. Polaris, and I will be your moderator today. So we, as a team from Dr. Polaris, are looking forward for being a constant part and parcel of your MBBS learning journey through our Dr. Polaris MBBS learning app in the form of lecture videos, notes, live discussions, animated videos, and many more. So today we are here with a new episode, which is all about the first year MBBS exams. So for the most expert opinion, we have with us our beloved mentors today, Dr. Ryan Fernandez, Medical Director at Dr. Polaris, and Dr. Sanjit Bajpayee, Chief Academic Coordinator at Dr. Polaris. Hello, sirs. How are you?
Good evening, Aishwarya.
Good evening, sir. All
Yeah,
good?
yeah, all good.
Sanjit, sir, is it too cold there?
It's very cold. It's freezing and
It's evident.
Okay, I can see that. Right, sir? Right, sir? He looks very.
Yeah.
I'm all covered up.
Very
That's why.
comfy and cozy there.
All right, all right. So, anyway, I think we are all ready to go with the most awaited topic, if I'm not wrong, very important topic for any first year out there. So, over to the experts. Over to you both, sirs.
So, good evening, everyone. So, it must be a little daunting to think about exams right now, but I think it's the best time to get briefed about the exams right in the beginning. What the exams are all about, how is it different? Because most of the time, what happens is it is during the journey of MBBS that most of the students get to know about different aspects of the exams. So we will dive right into the topic. I would like to divide the topic into two. So there are two aspects to examinations in MBBS, whichever year it is, first year, second year, third year, or final year. That is internal assessment exams and university exams. So first coming to internal assessment exams. Now, all of you have joined your respective medical colleges. I'm sure most of you have now almost completed or are coming to the end of your foundation courses. Some of you have already begun attending classes. So soon your teachers, your professors will start telling you about the first sessional exam. The first sessional exam is going to come soon. Be prepared for it. So what do you mean by this internal assessment or sessional exam, and how is it different from your exams of 11th and 12th standard? So the first thing that you have to know is that by NMC, every college is expected to conduct at least a minimum of 3 internal assessment exams. So we are going to concentrate only on first year now, what you are going to face in the next 1 year. So you will be having a minimum of 3. They can conduct 4 or 5, but most colleges refrain from doing conducting 3 internal assessment exams itself is a huge task these days. 150 students conducting exams, then correcting those 150 papers is easy. So most of them stick to a minimum of 3. At the end of the year, an average will be taken of these 3 exams. For example, you have anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. Let's take anatomy. You answered your first sessional exam, second sessional exam, and third sessional exam. Most of these sessional exams will have 1 paper. So we will talk how it is different in university exams later. So in your anatomy exam, in your sessional internal assessment exams, you'll have 1 paper. So 100 marks paper, first sessional, 100 marks paper, second sessional, 100 marks paper, third sessional. Each paper will have 3 sets of questions, that is long essays, short essays, and short answers. Long essays are 2 into 10, 20 marks. Short essays are 10 into 5, 50 marks. Short answers are again 10 questions. 10 into 3 is equal to 30 marks. So 20 plus 50 plus 30, your paper equals to 100 marks. So that is your theory paper, which you will be getting in your first sessional exam, second sessional exam, and third sessional exam. Now, how much do you have to score? Obviously, you want to score maximum. Never go to the minimum. Don't always, though we are going to tell you the minimum and the minimum requirement to be eligible for the exam. Don't aim for that minimum marks. Always aim for the moon. You'll at least reach the sky. So the minimum requirement in a theory paper for you to be eligible for the university exam is 40. So 40% of the theory marks you need to get to be eligible. So at the end of 3 years, if you have got 50 in one sessional exam of anatomy, then 50 in the second, third one is 60. They'll take an average of the three and you will get your marks. So there were some of them even choose the best two sessional marks and take the average of the two. So as long as it is above 40, then you're eligible to answer the exam. And we already spoke to you in the earlier sessions that along with theory, you also have practicals. In the afternoon, you go and do your practicals in your anatomy, your histology, gross specimen, in physiology and biochemistry. So you obviously will have a practical exam as well, in which again, you have to score a minimum of 40%. So theory 40% minimum, practicals 40% minimum. But there is a catch. To be eligible for the exam, not only have you to score a minimum of 40% theory and 40% in practicals, you also have to score a minimum of 50% when you combine the theory and practicals. Now it is the time to get a little confused. What does it mean? So I will give you examples. At the end of your first year, you have finished your 3 theory sessional exams as well as practicals. Usually, the theory exam will be conducted such that paper 1 of anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry theory exams, only 1 paper, followed by 3 days of practical exams, where if you're a batch of 150 students, 50 will answer anatomy, 50 will answer physiology, 50 will answer biochemistry, practical exams simultaneously. Then they will rotate on the second day and third day. So at the end of 1 year, you have completed 3 theory papers and 3 practical exams. And now it is time to check your average. In your theory, first scenario is in your theory exam, you have got 41%. So you are from theory side, you are eligible. We want a minimum of 40%. In your practicals, you have got a minimum, you have got a percentage of 42%. So according to your eligibility criteria, 40% in theory, 40% in practicals, you're eligible. But the problem is there is another eligibility criteria where your theory plus practicals should equal 50%. Now we'll add 41 and 42, theory and practicals. You have got 41.5%. You are not eligible to answer the university exam. Why is it like this? That will come to know in your scenario 2. In scenario 2, you have got 61% in your theory. You have done extremely well, 61% in your theory at the end of 1 year. In your practicals, you have got more than 40%. So you are eligible in theory. In practicals, you have got 39%. So now you have got 61% in theory, practical. So according to your practical criteria, you have to get a minimum of 40%. You are not eligible, even though 61 plus 39 is equal to 100. Divide by 2, you have got the theory plus practicals equal to 50%. But in the practical exam, you have not got a minimum of 50%, 40%. So you are not eligible. So your third criteria is, third example is, in theory, you have got 41%. So that you have cleared the minimum criteria. In practicals, you have got 59. 59 plus 41. So 59 individually. In theory, you have got 40%. In practical, you have got more than 40%, 59. 59 plus 41 is equal to 100. Divide by 2, 50%. You are eligible to write your university exam. This is one thing I have given examples because this is one thing students fail to understand. Why is that I get in minimum in 50 minimum percentage in theory and practicals, yet I'm not eligible? So this is the whole criteria. At the end of 1 year, in case, God forbid, that you're not eligible to write the exams, you have not cleared the minimum percentage, the college can, according to MCI, the college can conduct a remedial exam. And if you are able to get your minimum eligibility, then you can be eligible to answer the exam. This is not a compulsion. The university gives the college the opportunity to conduct the exam. The colleges are not in compulsion to conduct the remedial exam because they have conducted a minimum of 3 remedial exams. So they can conduct remedial exams, 1 remedial or 2 or 3 remedial exams, but that is based on the college. You cannot blame the college for not conducting the remedial exam because they have conducted a minimum of 3 sessional exams. Along with that, one more point I want to add here is from your batch, for your batch onwards, these internal assessment marks will not be counted in your university exams. Till now, what used to happen is the internal assessment marks at the end, for example, out of 20, they used to keep a provision of 20 internal assessment marks, which were added to your university exams. So if you would have got 19 in your internal assessment marks, that is a boost of 19 marks for your university exams. So many of the students would want to do well in internal assessment so that not just for eligibility, but these marks get added to your university exam, and passing in your university exam becomes slightly easier. But now the NMC has taken away this provision of internal assessment marks to be added to the university exam. You have to pass university exam on your own without any help from your internal assessment marks. Internal assessment marks are only to be eligible for the exam. They are not counted towards your final university exam. All the work of your university exam you have to do on your own during the university exam. So this is the basics of internal assessment that you know, that you should know. Of course, when you to second year, third year, final year, theory again remains the same. The practical aspect becomes what is called as an end posting. So you'll be going to different departments, ENT, ophthalm, general surgery. At the end of 1 month posting, you will have an end posting exam. And in that you have to, that is counted as your practical exam. And in that you have to get the minimum of 40%. So theory 40%, end posting 40%, theory plus end posting 50%. So the funda remains the same, except the type of practical exam is a little different. So this is the all about the internal assessment marks. I will hand it over to Dr. Sanchit. Anything he wants to add or clear up?
I think Dr. Ryan has already stated everything. That's why maybe exams is called as the evil of education. You know, there is so much to understand, and there's so many things that have changed, and people should know about it because maybe your seniors were doing a separate thing and they won't be able to guide you through because now things are very, very different when you guys are there. So first year has changed, MBBS has changed, and a lot of rules and regulations have come up. And I think he's beautifully summed up everything, whatever you need to know in your practicals as well as theory. My part here will be to take you out into the world as to so many things has been already told by Ryan sir, how to do this to pass 40%, 50%, 60%, but how to manage time, because time is something that is the most important in everyone's life. And there are so many things to do in a single day. So when you are a medical student, especially when you are a first year, you have entered into a med school, and your day just snaps out. You don't even know that when the day finishes, and then we have to finish our logbooks, we have to finish our regular homework that has been given to us, we have to prepare whatever has been taught to us, and then after that, we have to prepare our own things that we need to know for tomorrow. And except for that, we need to play, then at the same time, we need to go to the classes, and all of this comes into play, right? So here comes a good time management strategy, because time is something that is important in everyone's life, right? So the first thing I would start from, something that everyone faces. When we are becoming doctors, especially when we are thrown into a medical college and we are these young brains, we have got a lot of expectations from people outside. So ultimately, you guys are in the spotlight. Now, spotlights create disappointment. Why? Because you need to take things a little easy. You don't need to, do everything in a single day, because as I told you, are running a marathon. You're not running a sprint of 500 meters and it's finished. You're running a marathon of 5.5 years. And then after that, your marathon will be again bigger. So you have to run a long way. Now, in order to have that, you need to manage your time properly, right? First, don't ever think about exams. That is your primary goal. If you're studying today, you're not studying for your exams. You're not studying to get marks. You're not studying for 40% eligibility or 50% marks. That is a criteria that has been given to you. You are studying for your own self to treat patients, because whatever you're reading today will definitely turn fruitful tomorrow. So if you keep that pressure here, that if I read this question, maybe I'll get 50. If I read this question, maybe I'll get 60. If I don't read this, maybe I'll lose 15. No, that strategy is absolutely wrong, especially when you're reading in first year. So never trust upon the last minute reading. It never works, because maybe you're reading today, you might not be able to retain it tomorrow. But if you continue this process, that's what we call as a process, then definitely you will end up having a good paper in the final day. Now comes, I'll just quote one of the book here. Okay, it's a very, very good book. It's a very small, a very simple book that is written. It's called as The Boy, the Horse, the Fox, and the Mole. And what exactly that book sums up is that a boy is walking in the woods. There's a lot of fog, and he's in search of a mountain. He's going on a hike, and he has a horse with him. And he knows that he wants to find the mountain. He wants to find the mountain, and he's going through a lot of fog. There's a dense forest. You don't know what is going to happen the next day. Now, as soon as he's walking, he just holds on to the rein of the horse, and he's walking step by step. He feels very afraid. And he's again and again crying, where is the mountain? Where is the mountain? When is the mountain going to come? When is the mountain going to come? But it's not so soon. You know what the horse does? Whenever you see a horse walking, he always puts his head below and he takes one step at a time. So whatever step is coming in front of you, that step you need to know at that particular point of time. Don't worry, the 100 steps that are going to come in the rest of your life. If you're reading first year, if I'm reading anatomy upper limb today, I don't need to, take tension that my neuroanatomy or my cardiovascular system is there waiting for me. No, you have to focus upon today, what you're reading. And this process will continue time by time, and then you will have a good assimilation. So this is the process. So trust the process, not the goal. That is the main thing whenever you are going for time management. Now comes second thing, make small goals. Don't make huge goals for your whole self. That I'm going to study the whole upper limb anatomy in maybe a week. No, it's not possible. If you have just come into a medical college, and trust me, you cannot at all, even if you have the brightest of the brains, you cannot match up the speed of medical college teaching. If suppose a person is teaching you anatomy today, he will finish up 5 topics, tomorrow he'll finish up 10 more, and you will be blocked. You will be like, oh, now I'm 15 topics behind, and you will be in a hurry. You will be like, oh, when to read, where to read, and it'll be all gone. By the time you lose interest. So your process has to be your speed. And that process is going to be simple and sweet if you do it daily. And that is why we, especially Dr. Polaris, cultivate that learning culture in you. To read daily and to read small goals, something at a time. So what I'm saying is that 3 categories of students we have. One, who read almost 12 to 13 hours a day. But by the time they actually reach exams, they are exhausted. The second class is they only read at the end point, just 1 month before the exams. And, their time is only that in the last, we'll just mug up all the 15 questions that have been given in the last years. They'll pass. And the third category is they slowly read every day. Now, what is that slowly thing? So I'm going to give you an example, and that is called as a rubber band principle. And that rubber band principle was carried on University of Columbia. Excellent example for all medical students. And this is what I follow. And this is what my professor used to say. So we are like rubber bands. Now, just imagine I have a rubber band with me. This is a rubber band, right? Now, if I take this single rubber band and if I stretch it out in one single day, what will happen? After one point of time, it will snap out. And once it will snap out, it will hurt. Now, if you do everything in 1 day or 2 days, you will snap out. Your brain will be blocked. You will go on a break of 7 days more as in a trauma that what have I done with myself. But now you see, if I 2 rubber bands, maybe 3 or 4 rubber bands, these are the number of days that I'm building this. What will happen? The stretch will be slow, steady, and it will never snap out. So what you're doing, you're building your base, you're building your foundations. And that is where this helps. You might not have any kind of a fruitful thing on that particular day. But once you keep collecting that day by day, so I'm just telling you, read 1 or 2 hours a day, max. That is all you can actually do. But even if those 2 hours of learning is enough to retain inside, that will help you a long way. So here I come, what we actually always promote and always we say is called as smart learning. Whenever you are learning, you have to have these 5 principles inside. SMART. That is S means whenever you're opening a topic, according to your time, skim through the chapter and understand. Don't start right away reading from the first line and mugging it up. You have to memorize. I'm coming to that, but first understand. So the first S is skim and understand. The second comes the M. M means memorize. And finally, you have understood this. Now I've understood the upper limb anatomy. Yes, now I'm going to memorize it, because by the end of the day, you have to memorize things. Then comes A. A means assimilation. By the end of the topic, you need to assimilate all the things inside your brain, close your eyes, think for some amount of time. That what have I actually read? How much has that assimilated? Now, any particular person will forget. And that is why even at Polaris, we are giving you revision things, revision buddies. And we have got our flash notes as well. And these are just small cues, which will help you just to revise faster. So the R of SMART becomes revision. And last is T, that means teaching it to someone. So once you have that inside you, teach it to your friend, teach it to your junior, that will be your coming juniors, teach it to someone, even the mess guy, any particular person. What will happen? If I am teaching you today, I'm becoming better with my own subject. And even my doubts are getting clear because I'm explaining it to someone. So this is a smart way of teaching. So I know obviously your 8 to 4 is your classes time, then you have to go for sports. And then after that, you have to come back and you have to do that. But out of this whole scenario, even if you just take out 1 or 2 hours a day, that will be really helpful to you. So I'm going to give you a tip as to what I used to do. Always go for video learning and then go for textbooks. That makes life simple. And that is why we also follow at Dr. Polaris the same concept. We give you concept-oriented videos right from the beginning. And we all give you the crux of that chapter. Now you will take that chapter, you will understand because someone is there to make you understand. Once I hear my teacher, once I have that thing in mind, I will never be afraid to open that topic. After that, go to the textbook. You will maximum take half an hour to 45 minutes to skim that chapter. Because you already know the concept. It's already been given to you. What you need to do, just memorize it. Make your notes, make handy notes that are your notes. Don't take your senior notes, don't take someone else's notes because they are there. It's their understanding. It has to be your note. So take your notes and always challenge your comfort zone. Don't be in that cocoon that I'm fine with this much. Your cocoon has to be wide enough. Mind you, coronavirus was a small topic that was always left out as one of the topics which never comes in microbiology. Since 5 years, we are struggling to treat corona. So those people who know and who have gone out of their comfort zones and have broken that cocoon are absolutely doing so many things in the world. And you guys are going to be future leaders, the authorities. People will write books. People will, give dissection demonstrations. All of these you guys will do in later years. So you have to be ready for that. That is your main goal, the primary purpose that you are here for. So always remember on that. Now I'll go back to Ryan sir, and Ryan sir will tell us back after all that trauma that, exams and universities and, there's a lot of things that goes on in the brain of a single person. But, Ryan sir will tell you and he will dissect out every possible thing, what and how to crack your university exams easily. Over to you, Ryan sir.
So cracking about university exams, I think Dr. Sanchit has brilliantly explained how to read, how to go about daily preparation for the university exams. We already spoke about the internal assessment exams, how video-based learning, how we have at Dr. Polaris have broken down the whole concept of learning to change what is required in CBME-based learning. So now you have followed all of Dr. Sanchit's advice and the time has come for university exams. I know there is still another year. I'm just fast forwarding you to so that you know what happens during the university exam. So we finished the internal assessment exams, which were single paper sessional exams that were conducted minimum of 3 throughout the year. Now during your university exams, you have 3 subjects: anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. Each subject has 2 papers. You have to remember that there will be a paper 1 and paper 2 in anatomy, paper 1 and paper 2 in physiology, paper 1 and paper 2 in biochemistry. During our time, biochemistry had a single paper. Now biochemistry also has 2 papers. We were very worried in biochemistry because in what used to happen is in anatomy, you can cover 1 paper with the other. In biochemistry, you couldn't. Now, there are 2 papers in biochemistry as well. Each paper 1 of anatomy, I will now focus on 1 subject so that it is easy to understand. Anatomy, since all the 3 subjects in terms of exams are all the same. So anatomy, paper 1 and paper 2. Each paper is 100 marks, having 3 sets of questions, just like in the internal assessment: long essay, 2 into 10, 20 marks. Short essay, 10 into 5 marks, that is 50 marks. And short answers, 10 into 3 marks, that is 30 equal to 100. So paper 1, 100, paper 2, 100. Again, you have to get a minimum of 40% in each paper. Anatomy paper 1, minimum 40% out of 100, so minimum 40. In paper 2, out of 100, minimum of 40 you have to get. But again, like in internal assessment, there is a catch. In combining the two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, you have to get a minimum of not 40, you have to get a minimum of 50%. So out of 200, in theory, you have to get a minimum of 100. Again, I'll go with examples. You have answered the university exam in anatomy. In paper 1, you got 40. You got the minimum criteria to pass the exam. In paper 2, you got 40. You got the minimum criteria to pass the exam. But when you combine paper 1 and paper 2, you have got 80. That is 40%. You have failed the subject. You have to get a minimum of 50%. So we'll go to second example. You have done very well in paper 1. Usually that is how some students study. I will study for one paper. I will not study for the other paper. I will when we combine, I will anyway get the percentage. So you have done very well in paper 1, 61. You got out of 100. In paper 2, you have got 39. So you have done very well. 61 in paper 1. You have got the eligibility also to pass. But in paper 2, you have got 39. That minimum percentage of 40% that you have to get, you have not covered. So even though when you add up the two papers, 61 plus 39 is equal to 100. Out of 200, you are supposed to get 100. You have got that. You have not passed the exam. You have actually failed the exam because individually in that second paper, you didn't get a minimum of 40 marks. So the best criteria would be, not the best, the ideal criteria would be if you have got a minimum of paper 1, 40, you didn't do that well, but you got the minimum percentage. Out of 100, you got 40. In paper 2, you did very well. You got 60. Paper 1 plus paper 2, 60 plus 40 is equal to 100. Individually, you have cleared the criteria and combined also, you have got the 50%. You have passed the university exam in anatomy. So that is theory. So usually paper 1, paper 2, anatomy, followed by if sometimes they give a break between the papers. So then physiology comes paper 1 and paper 2, then a break, and biochemistry paper 1 and paper 2. So theory exams are over. Then come the practical exams, which are conducted again continuously. Anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry practicals will be conducted continuously, just like your sessional exam. And there it is divided into two parts, the practical exams and the Viva OC. So the practical exams are of 80 marks and the Viva OC are of 20 marks. So a combined marks of 100, and you have to get a minimum of 50% in that. So out of 100, in practicals also, you have to get 50%. So basically, in the end, in theory, you have to get 50% combined. In practicals, you have to get minimum of 50%. If you don't get a minimum of this, if you have failed in theory and passed in practicals, remember that you have still failed the subject. There is no concept of, I will pass the theory exam, and if I fail the practicals, I will answer practicals later. No, you have to answer both the theory as well as practicals in case you fail in one of the two. So there is no shortcut. There are students, many students who have passed in practicals but fail in theory. They have to answer the whole thing again, theory as well as practical. If, for example, you fail in the university exams, now from your batch onwards, there is the provision for conducting the supplementary exam, which the college has to conduct within 90 days of the declaration of results. So this concept was not there earlier. Earlier, what I'll tell you what used to happen earlier was, if you failed in the exam, after 6 months, another exam was conducted. And if you passed in that exam, you go into a separate batch. Some call it the odd batch, some call it the IR batch, the irregular batch, and you will be separate from your original batchmates. You're neither in the original batch, neither are you in the next batch. You are the in-between batch. If you still fail in the supplementary exam, which is conducted after 6 months, then you go and then you pass in the next attempt, then you go and join your juniors who come after you. Next year who come, you will go and join them. This year, from this year onwards, the new CBME has done away with this IR batch and odd batch. So what the colleges have to do is, they have to conduct an exam within 90 days of declaration of the results. If you pass that exam which is conducted within 90 days, then you go and join your friends, your original batch that you were there. You go and join there, though 3 months late, and there is a provision for covering up the 3 months of portion that you have lost. But if you fail after in the supplementary exam, which is conducted after 90 days, then you lose a year. Directly, you lose a year, and then you answer with your junior batch. Another thing that I want you to know is that according to the new rules by the NMC, you can have a maximum of 4 attempts, to clear your first year exams. That means from the date of joining, you have 4 years to complete your first year exams. Earlier, there were innumerable attempts. There were students giving it for 8-9 years. Now, within 4 years, if you don't clear your first year MBBS exams, then you can no longer continue the course. In the same breath, I would also like to tell you that you have to complete your entire MBBS course. Obviously, it's a 5.5-year course. You have to now complete the entire course if you fail exams by 10 years. If you don't, if you're at the end of 10 years, you're still giving your final year exam or your third year exam, again, you cannot continue the course. So these are the 2 new things that have come according to the new regulations, which you should know. And this is in brief everything about the university exam. So we've covered both the internal as well as university exams. I hope it all makes a lot more sense now. And I will throw it back to Dr. Sanchit.
Yeah, I think again, exams. What if I fail? The amount of social ramifications that will follow me, the amount of trouble that I'll be bearing from my relative side, what my parents will face after that. What will my brother and sister say? What will my friends think about it? I'll be boycotted. There's a lot of spotlight on top of you. And that is why it makes one of the most difficult professions in this whole world, because of these social ramifications and because of the disappointment you have it here. Now, never take that pressure. That's what I'm telling you. There are so many things you're dealing. And these things are going to scale up day by day, day by day, day by day, day by day. And by the end, when you become a consultant, it will be 10 times higher than what you think now, right? This is all to train you for future life. And that is what we are. We become, ready-made commandos by the time we end. That is what training in MBBS is all about. And that's why you are dealing with such a difficult profession each and every day of your life. Now, my funda is to relieve your stress. What I can tell you is the tips, okay? Because Ryan sir has told you all about university exam and internal assessments, and maybe you might be worried about that. How will I deal with so much? And how will I deal with so much of stress? So what I will tell you is that, as I told before also, MBBS is not something that is, just read it and go and you pass with a degree. It's a way you live with. It's a way you have to live your whole life. It's a profession which will, carry so many things together with just not learning and education. So what I would say is, the first thing that you need to do is have stress busting activities or stress busters. Now, the first thing will be that forget about everything. Just imagine that you are in a day, one single day at a time. Give your best into that day. You will be 100 times better by the time you end. Now, how are these stress busters going to work? Number one, do some physical activity. Don't sit idle with textbooks. Too many textbooks. That's why we say, right, that too many textbooks spoil the broth. So you have to create a broth just not by textbooks. You have to create it with a lot of things with an all-round development. So do 10 to 15 minutes of physical outbursts. What will it do? It will release your endorphins. It will make you happy. It will take out all that, mental trauma and stress that has been already there, that this kitch and my professor is saying something and my exams are coming and all that will go out. So you will be a little more relaxed, right? So have some combating techniques. These will combat your negative thoughts that are assimilating inside you, and it will give you a certain amount of mindfulness. So whenever you're feeling scared, whenever you're feeling a little bit of trouble, just go out, have a good breathe, go out and have a good run or a sprint and take out that stress, right? So do some physical activity, don't sit idle. That's my first stress buster to you. Second stress buster, what I do, I call my friends, I call my family, reach out and vent out. You have to call someone. You cannot stay isolated, close the door and read all day. It cannot happen that way. You have to call someone, make a call, make friends, go out and socialize. Now, when it comes to reading, after reading amount, what I used to do is I used to give myself certain rewards. So I used to make my timetable, and it used to be a very short goal. Suppose I'm reading upper limb anatomy, and if I read upper limb anatomy, if I finish that, I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to give myself one Saturday free where I'll go and enjoy myself. I'm going to go out with friends, and I'm going to watch a movie and go out for dinner, and I'm not going to read anything that day. That's a reward for me. So earn that reward for your own self. That will be the best stress buster for you. You will have a good work-life balance. Right? Okay. So you need to have certain coping strategies. So reach out and vent out is my second stress buster. Now comes the third, which all of us think that it is an old age phenomena. People meditate. Now, meditation is something which I got into my life very late when I was into surgical branch. Right? Now, what meditation does? Meditation and deep breathing is not about you're sitting there and closing your eyes and doing yoga. You don't have to follow Sadhguru or some other leader. What do you need to do? You just need to take a deep breath, sit back, relax, take a deep breath, just put a soft song and forget about everything. That's meditation. Simple. 15 minutes, whenever you are thinking, don't just take out the textbook and start reading. Simple ways which will sort out a lot of things, right? Now, why am I telling you this? Because this is scientifically proven. There is a very big neurophysician, his name is Robbie Waller. He has written a paper about it, that once you start these kind of activities, once you just close your eyes and breathe for some amount of time, it increases the neural pathways. It increases the amount of firing that is happening in your brain, and it soothes you down, right? It releases those kind of happy hormones inside you. So this is what it is. Close your eyes, do that mantra, I can do this. It is what you need to tell yourself every day. Even we tell, even Raj sir knows that he must be also telling every day of our life, before any surgery, before any OT, we say this to ourselves, we can do this. It doesn't end that way, right? Now comes my next stress busting thing, that is eat healthy. Whatever you eat, that personality you are. Now, what happens in your first year MBBS? You are into a hostel or you are into a canteen where you will get all sorts of, junk food, and you will eat Maggie and you will eat chips and you will eat whatnot things, right? The next day you will be drowsy in class. You'll not be able to perform these things. Now, if you're becoming a great doctor, then you need to have great lifestyle as well. It just cannot help you that you read books and you'll be a great doctor. It has to go with a lifestyle. So what you can do, keep almonds, cashews, walnuts, flax seeds, apples, cereals, keep them inside your pocket. It won't take much of time. Keep these five or six dry fruits in your lab coats. Go munch it somewhere in between your laboratory whenever you get a break. What will happen? Your brain will keep working. This also needs glucose. Your ATPs will go down. The moment they go down, your adenine and adenosine, what you'll read, is going to accumulate inside the brain. That will make you a lot drowsy. So in order to keep this working and to get more assimilation, do these things, eat healthy. Don't be caffeinated. Don't be a coffee person or a tea person that you're too much caffeinated. It'll just give you tachycardia. It's nothing like coffee will take away my stress. No. Keep it as a healthy habit, right? And another thing is that in the last, my stress busting is sleep well. MBBS is not about just sleeping 45 minutes or 50 minutes. Your seniors must be telling you don't get to sleep in such professions. No, you have to sleep. If you don't sleep, then obviously you're not going to regain that glucose and energies, right? So you have to sleep. Now, for that, I would suggest each and everyone, because it is kind of a new thing that has come into medical colleges and people are also fighting for it, that is substance abuse. Stay away from substance abuse, no matter how much stress you have. Don't get into the hand of, all these substances that can, that is sort of stress busters. They never stress bust. They are going to just increase your anxiety by the end of the day, right? So whenever you're having any kind of a doubt or any kind of pressure inside your brain, what I used to do, I just used to sleep. My friend used to say, why are you sleeping in so much of tension? I used to say, I need to cool myself down. So 45 minutes to 1 hour, even that productive sleep will give you a good rest. Stop getting up in the morning and start opening your mobile phones and messaging each other. Don't use all this too much, right? So what you need to do is productive using of social media. If you're using social media, do it for a productive thing. Watch something educative. Watch something that will help you out. But don't just sit full day and watch, random videos, and that'll all take, it'll take away your eyes because it'll make them weak. At the same time, it'll fill your brain. So this is all procrastination. Try getting that self down. If you will get over this habit, these temptation, I'm telling you, you are going to have a very healthy life. You feel very good because of that. right? So take short naps, take yourself, give yourself rewards, and be happy. Trust the process, be happy in this process. Don't take it as a stress. Don't take it for giving exams. This is going to be the best days of your life. I'm going to tell you. And MBBS is the best, as even Ryan sir would agree, that you will not find so much of fun even in your coming life, and it cannot be in any other profession. This is the best field that you have chosen, and you are the chosen one if you really believe it. So don't be an average doctor or a bad doctor, be a great doctor. That's what we promote at Dr. Polaris. We are not creating average doctors. We want you to follow a lifestyle, a learning culture, which will carry on till the later dates. And that is why you can become a great doctor. That is how you will become someone at one point of time. Fine. So this is my gyan about all the stress busting things that we can have. And even Ryan sir is beautifully covered about the sessional exams as well as what you need to do and what you need to know about university exams. Over to you, Aishwarya.
So thank you so much to both the expert people out there, because it was, again, I've been saying this every single Polaris talk. You both of you are actually taking me back to my MBBS days. And from what I understood today after listening to you both is that, it's the tackling of MBBS is all about knowing what exactly is happening in it and not being panicking about it. Don't just panic, handle it. You can do it. And that is how you walk through it properly. That's what it's all about. And I think, there are a lot of tips and a lot of new informations given by both of you for the students out there. They get to know everything from this one single talk. And it was so much informative that it has really come up to 45 minutes and we didn't know, time just flew up like anything. So I think I'll postpone the Q&A session to maybe some other day, because it'll again prolong the session for some more time. Maybe we can have a separate Q&A discussion with the students as such, covering up all the topics which we have done so far. So in that case, can we wind up, sirs? Can we call it okay? All good?
Surely.
Yeah, sure, Aishwarya.
Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone who is there in the webinar today. Thank you so much for taking up that time and coming up to this interesting session. So see you all next Wednesday at 8 p.m. In case there is a change in the schedule, we would let you know about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.